Hello, my chicklets. Thank you for stopping by. This story, I think, is a little bit different than some of the other ones I've read, as this one happens after putting others first. Also, it kind of has some crossover elements, but not quite. Anyway, I do hope you all enjoy it. It is called Lost in the Imagination. There is nothing new in our skies above, nothing new to be seen, just the government helicopters and the mysterious floating lights above the Arby's. Shut your eyes, forget what you think you saw, and welcome to Night Vale. Remus shot up, looking around the room he had fallen asleep in. It didn't look right, even for him. The shadow in the mirror was stereotypically feminine rather than an eldritch horror, and he was certain he had never had a radio in his room before. Remember, everyone, today is street cleaning day. Please stay in your homes with the doors locked. Where had he heard this before? Remus racked his brain, trying to remember what was going on and why everything seemed so familiar, until it hit him all at once. This was that podcast Thomas used to listen to. The strange one that always had Remus entertained. He cackled, jumping up to poke his head out the window. He wasn't sure why he was in the new land, but he was certainly going to take advantage of it. Yeeting himself out of the window, he began walking through the streets, causing chaos wherever he could, though he was surprised by how little people seemed affected by him. Then again, when he saw the beings that certainly weren't angels, they had all introduced themselves as Erica, Remus understood why no one batted an eye at his multiple withering tentacles. The excitement wore off quickly after that. There was no point in being a horror if no one was scared. He was going to jump back into the mindscape, wash himself clean of whatever dream he must be having, but nothing happened. He closed his eyes, trying one more time, but again, nothing happened. Well, shit. He couldn't get back to the mindscape, which was mildly concerning, but he could still work with it. Let's see if I can go find Captain Dork. He focused on Logan, popping out and into a completely new setting. Captain, there's a 37% chance we won't make it at the speed we're going. Remus heard the loud yelling of a group of people in panic. It was music to his ears, but he needed to focus on Logan right now. Spock, I need you! No one moved or looked up at him with that, and Remus groaned. Logan! Nerd! Data! Whatever the fuck! I need you! Finally, he saw Logan look up at him, recognition dawning in his eyes, as if he had been snapped out of a trance. Remus, what are we doing here? He heard the captain yelling orders, and Logan tried to snap it all away, but it didn't work. That's why I had to find you, Specs. Something is up, and not in the fun way. Logan frowned, grabbing Remus and dragging him out of the bridge. A lot of action always happened there, so it was best to shift the screen. Do you have any idea what might be going on? Nope. I woke up somewhere else, and I couldn't clear it away either. I haven't seen something like this since the last time I decided to hide away in the imagination. What do you mean? Well, back when I was a wee little bean sprout, I got a little upset at Janny and decided to punish him by hiding in the imagination where he couldn't get to me. But eventually, I got a bit lost in the weird existential way, and Janus eventually had to pull me out. Not sure how he got to me, cause didn't like talking about it, but he told me I wasn't allowed to spend more than 24 hours in the imagination after that. Logan began to rub the bridge of his nose. That makes sense, he said softly. Roman has been gone for about 2 days now, and I suspected he was sulking in the imagination. Is this because of the whole Daddy Frogger thing? Logan nodded. You were able to find me, though, correct? Let's see if we can find Janus. Anything for you, Teach. Remus wiggled his eyebrows, grabbing Logan's hand before focusing on Janus and dragging him to wherever Janus was. They were both very surprised by the attic they had found themselves in. Are you certain this is the right place, Remus? This is where I was feeling the pull towards Snaky. Now we just need to find him. It seemed like each of the places they had gone to so far had been at least tangentially related to the sides. Remus enjoyed the pure chaos of Night Vale, and Logan had made no secret his love of Star Trek. So, how was this place connected to Janus? Very well. We should look around then. Logan began to walk around the dust-covered room, looking at the chests covered in cloth and the paintings. He carefully uncovered things, listening for anyone else up here, though Remus was sure Logan was distracted by his noises. I think I found something! He had pulled a sheet off of a painting, only to see it was of Janus. It looked exceedingly realistic, though the face in the painting was more expressive than Janus had ever been. This is an amazing rendering of Janus, which leads me to believe that he must be in the house somewhere. I still don't get where we are. Just as Remus was saying that, the picture in front of them changed, a sheen of tears forming in the man's eyes. Ooh, haunted painting. No, that's not fully accurate. It's the picture of Dorian Gray. What are you talking about? This is obviously Janus. No, it's a book. In the book, a man named Dorian Gray had a picture painted of him, and it bore the marks of his sin and his aging, though this doesn't seem to show the same type of issues. Instead, I hypothesize his painting is all of the things Janus is hiding, though his scales are also in the painting, which makes me curious as to if he will have his scales here. Probably. I don't know about you light sides, but Janny and I don't care about our stranger parts of our appearance. It makes us unique. Well, that will make it easier to find him. Logan began looking for a way out of the attic. The faster they found Janus, the faster they could solve this issue. Though, if he is playing the part of Dorian, he may be somewhere in the house. Yeah, we could just smash our way out of the attic, right? It's probably best we play by the rules of this universe, and causing destruction to the ceiling will only bring us unwanted attention. Boo! Not playing by the rules is the way I do things. It makes it more fun. Remus flung himself at the floor of the attic, trying to crash through it. Logan rolled his eyes, continuing to look for a latch that would open up the door. He found it about the time that Remus made headway on his hole. It wasn't big enough to fall through, but just enough to put his face through. Here's Remus! Logan knew that rolling his eyes again wouldn't cause them to come out of his head, but he didn't want to test that assumption either. Instead, he sighed. Would you like to take the ladder down? Time is of the essence. Fine. You really aren't as much fun as you used to be, low blow. In what way? Remus made a non-committal noise as he shrugged his shoulders. I guess you used to play along more, but now you're all business. You got boring. Apologies, but this is how it has to be. Why? Because there isn't time for fun and play when everything is falling apart, when there is no order. We have to do what is needed to give Thomas the best life. But is it the best life if it isn't fun? I'm not willing to have this discussion. Remus shrugged, and the two of them began walking through the manor. There were a few workers who gave them strange looks, but no one specifically said anything to them. Remus was absolutely bored and wanted to create more chaos, but summoning things in this bland and boring world was difficult. He couldn't even get a can of spray paint in his hands. Logan knocked on a door. At least he seemed to know where he was going. Come in, a voice behind the door called. Remus immediately recognized it. Slamming himself into the room, he smiled wide and toothy. Janus looked up at him, and recognition entered his eyes as well. Mind telling me what we are doing here, Remus? Not my problem this time. I'm just as confused as you are. Which means it's probably Roman. Janus rubbed the bridge of his nose. That makes things more complicated. You've already pulled me out of something like this before. Yes, but you weren't hiding. You just got distracted. Considering our last conversation, your brother is probably hiding. Janus looked down at his clothes and swept his hand over his body, frowning when his outfit didn't change. Well, I'm not at all dissatisfied with this. I can't get us directly to Roman, and I've never done this before, but I found you and Logan. I had just walked out of the door of the main story until I found the right one. Really? Is that easy? Finding the door might not be as easy as you think, Remus. Let's get going. Come along, Logan. I'm curious about this whole process. How did you know which door to find? I didn't, honestly. It was a shot in the dark. Even this may take us longer than we hope, but the best thing for us is going to be to go through and try to find Roman as fast as possible. When this happened last time, Remus pulled me into a fantasy world. If you're here, it's possible all of us have been pulled in, and that's not necessarily good for Thomas. Logan nodded, and the three of them began looking for a door, trying to find a way closer to Roman. You really should have been more careful with your words, Logan said to Janus, both of them trailing behind Remus. Oh yes, this is completely my fault. I never said it was your fault, but you were a contributing factor. Roman shouldn't have said what he said either. However, his ego is more fragile than yours. And what does that say when he is Thomas's ego? It is concerning, yes, but that is something to address at another time. Ooh, this looks promising, Remus said from the door he had found. Not sure who we're going to find next, though. Hoping it's Rowan, because this is not my preferred way of playing hide and seek. Remus threw himself into the door before Logan and Janus could stop him. They both sighed and followed after him. They were immediately hit with the heat and warmth of the story they were in. This is a pleasant change. Do any of us know what story we're in? The road to El Dorado, Remus said excitedly, pulling the sword out of its scabbard. Oh, this is going to be so much fun. Really? This is not the story I expected Roman to go to, especially if he has any form of control, Logan mused, looking over his own costume. Genuinely, I expected him to go with Disney, or at least Disney adjacent. Sometimes people can surprise us, Janus drawled. Yes, but there has to be some kind of logic behind all of this, yes? I'm a fan of Star Trek. You feel you have to hide many different things about yourself. Rude. So why are we here? Why this story? It's a story about two men that end up helping despite doing everything wrong. Isn't that correct? In a roundabout way, Logan muttered, obviously not convinced. Why are you two sitting around discussing the philosophy of a movie? Let's find Roman! Remus was charging forward, and the two knew they had to follow. He was worried about his brother, worried about what was happening to him with him being left alone. Wait, I hear something, Janus said quietly. Nope, not waiting. The bushes began to rustle, and the three of them were ambushed, and the whole world went dark. When Janus woke up, he was surprised to not be tied up, but instead relaxing against a mass of pillows. What are you doing here? We came to find you. Why? Well, it's certainly not because you've pulled the entire mindscape into this. Roman's face immediately filled with guilt, and Janus was certain it had to be contagious because he was feeling it too. It's understandable, though, Janus continued. The past few days have been disappointing. You don't even know the half of it, Roman said, throwing his hands up. I was trying so hard to do the right thing, and you had to come in and complicate things. Things were already complicated. I just shined a light on the fact that they were. I guess. I know you did the best that you could, and you shouldn't have been put in the position to have to choose. That was hard. I want to be a hero, Roman said, looking at him. You already are, Remus said as he slowly began to wake up. I'm not sure what bullshit you've been listening to, but you've always been a hero. Remus yawned and stretched. So how did you save us? They think I'm a god. Oh, what perks does that come with? Nice room, good food, but the story is off course. We should be at the point where Miguel and Tulio start escaping, but nothing has set it off. Well, it's your story now. You didn't want to escape, did you? Remus asked. Not really, but I guess I have to. If you aren't ready to go to the lights yet, you can always come chill with me, Remus said with a wide smile. I think I could work with that. I know that's not a super satisfying ending to the story. Originally, I was thinking of making this a much longer story, but I just didn't have the energy to turn it into what I wanted it to be. However, for those who are curious, I do suspect that in this timeline, in this thought process, that Rowan does eventually feel better and they all end up talking about their issues. So, a happy ending, just not a written one. I do hope you all enjoyed it, and I hope you have a wonderful day.